Cooking segment brought to you by Ferguson Bath Kitchen and Lighting Gallery, powered by Electrolux.
Hi there, everybody. A beloved U District neighborhood cafe that was the site of a mass shooting that left 4 people dead sadly closed its doors last October, but there's good news. It has come under new ownership and it is now back open to the public. Here to talk about the reopening and a delicious new recipe is Cafe Racer owner Jeff Ramsey. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Margaret.
You know, that tragedy was such a blow to the community and all the people who had loved Cafe Racer. I was afraid it would close and stay closed forever. What happened?
So my wife sent me a Facebook post that said Cafe Racer is closing, and it gave the last day. And I felt it. Like, I just felt it. I had been to Cafe Racer. I used to live in the Ravenna neighborhood. My daughter had her 16th birthday party there. And so I loved the place, and I also felt like there was a tragedy, and Cafe Racer was the living memorial to that tragedy. So aside from the fact that it's an amazing little cafe and artist hub, it is an important thing for this city. And I felt called. My wife and I got, sat down and talked about all through and said, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And the reopening feels to me like an act of healing and sort of reclaiming that space in a good way. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We just had our opening weekend, and there were so many people coming in and expressing their gratitude, and there was a lot of tears and there was a lot of laughter, and it's a little bit, overwhelming at times, but important. And we realized we were doing the right thing.
You are.
Yes.
You are indeed. And you serve wonderful things. Is this on the menu? The
this
dish we're making
is on the
today?
menu.
What are we making?
Absolutely. Well, it's polenta.
You can just stop there. Polenta. I'm all in. And then whatever you want to put in it is fine.
So it's polenta in a coconut leek mushroom ragu.
Whoa. Does that sound good? Yeah. Let's do it. How do we start?
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of oil, a little bit of olive oil in our big pan.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to saute our leeks. We want them to get... we want them to what's called sweating.
Yes.
Okay.
Familiar with that.
Yeah. So it softens.
I mean, personally and in terms of cooking. But
so we want them to. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And so we want them to kind of soften, cook down a bit. If somebody hasn't worked with leeks before, it's a little bit different of a vegetable. This is it in its whole thing. And the way
people are not as familiar with leeks as
maybe
they should be, but it's a fun thing to cook with.
It's incredibly delicious, very sweet. But I like to split it down the middle, and often you can see there's a little bit of soil that gets in there. And so after I do that, I will cut it into little pieces like so, and then I will soak that to get all that dirt out and then drain it. Yeah.
Because you never know what's been happening there.
You never know what's been happening there. Yeah.
Get those babies clean.
Yeah. So there's very few ingredients to this dish. It's the leeks. The leeks take a little while. I would say to get them really soft, you need 15 or 20 minutes. Sometimes I'll do them, if I'm doing a lot, I'll do them in a saucepan, and that seems to soften them faster than a frying pan.
Then when they're open?
Yep.
Do I need any more oil, or am I good? I kind of coated everything.
I would do a little bit
Just a
more.
tiny bit?
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go. Thanks. All right.
And then, so once those are softened, then I would add a sliced mushroom. And so I like to slice my mushrooms about a quarter inch thick. Enough so that there's the completed dish, the ragu, is very soft and almost like a gravy.
It's comfort food.
It's huga. It is huga. That's the new Danish word around Seattle, and that's really what Cafe Racer is about. It's about comfort and the sense of well-being.
And welcome and the whole thing. Look at that. A little bit hopped out of the pan.
There you go. It happens like that.
Means it wants to come to me.
There you go. So we're going to add the mushrooms.
Okay. Do you season it at all?
Well, so this is the interesting thing, right? It takes very little seasoning. We're going to add a little bit of garlic, and I'm using a crushed garlic in olive oil.
Oh. which should be in everything, I think.
It really should be in everything.
See, I'm never hungry until the garlic goes in, and then I
Right?
just think I'm starving.
I like we cook giant batches of caramelized onions.
Oh my
and so in the
goodness.
morning you come in and it's that great smell.
Yep. Am I bothering it too much?
No, you're doing great.
I tend to bother my food.
So really there's only 2 seasonings. There's the garlic, and then there's tamari, which is a soy sauce, but it's gluten-free.
Oh,
So the thing about this
interesting.
dish is I finished making the dish, everybody loved it, and then somebody said, oh, well, it's vegan and gluten-free. And I didn't even, that wasn't
Right.
part of
It
the
was just an
thinking. It
accident.
just sort of happened that way. So
That makes
what
it
we
even
would
better.
do, if this was completely ready, we would add our coconut milk.
Also an underused substance, which is
Yeah.
quite delicious.
Yeah, I love, and this is the coconut milk from the can. So this isn't like the cartons that you see. It has much more coconut fat in it.
Good fat is good for you.
And then here's our tamari. And the tamari is like soy sauce, it's very salty. So you don't need salt.
I wouldn't have even thought of gluten in soy sauce.
Yeah, it's what it is, fermented wheat actually.
Yeah,
So,
well,
and soy.
Duh, yeah.
So the only other thing that I might say, if somebody likes it a little spicy, I like to add about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more of sriracha.
Oh.
So you get a little more hit of garlic there and
Okay.
that chili paste.
The chili paste, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so
Alrighty.
then how we cook our polenta, we cut that into about 3/4 inch slices.
While you're cutting that, I'm looking at the menu just to let people know. Ooh, you've got great lunch. Baguettes.
Comfort food.
Yeah,
It's all-
baguettes. House specials after 5, meatloaf, polenta, and gnocchi. You're on it.
Yeah.
You're on it. That's great. A little chili.
There's a lot of cream, a lot of butter, a lot of cheese.
Do people just stay and take a nap after they eat? There should be a
True,
nap
actually,
room.
I've been thinking about it myself. I was like, where's my nap room? So the polenta, the trick with the polenta is you've got to get the oil a little bit hot before you put the polenta in, and it's got to splatter. So what I recommend is if you have a splatter screen, you can use that, but just
Right.
be careful.
Don't get splashed too
yeah,
much.
I mean you're going to get a little something.
Now, while that's cooking, let me ask you about other events at the cafe, things that people should know about.
Sure. So pretty much what we're doing, so the founder created this amazing space of art and music and things like that, and so we're kind of keeping that tradition.
Good.
So we're a meeting place. Last night we had some writers, some sci-fi writers, and some drawing groups came in, and they just took over some tables and did their thing.
That's so cool.
We'll do music most of the time on Fridays and Saturdays. We'll do spoken word poetry. We have comedians, 5 comedians coming this Friday. So we're going to do a little bit of everything, but be that community space.
Thank you
that it's
so
always
much.
been.
Thanks for what you've done. And can we just point people to the finished dish there?
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
This is what it looks like.
Look at this. Yeah. Ooh, everybody says. I agree. Ooh, indeed. Jeff, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
what you're doing
I
at the
appreciate
restaurant
it.
and for this. We've posted Cafe Racer's recipe on New Day's website. Please check it out. Go by and see them. It's a great place to support, and I'm so glad you're back.
Thank you.
Up next, a story written years ago in Russia is finally coming to life as an animated musical. We're going to meet the filmmaker after this.